Yep. That do be how it do sometimes. Yep.
True.
Mm.
Yeah.
How's the prospects of the job? Probably a good sign.
I don't even have the.
Self-hatred?
Suffering. Understandable.
That's
Yeah.
self-explanatory. It. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of weird how that works.
Mm-hmm. Why?
Oh.
Oh. Oh, you have work in
Ow.
an hour.
Yeah.
Have fun with that, I
Unfiltered.
guess.
I guess I'll be drinking for you then.
I don't know, Arn. Can your liver handle that?
Nope.
It's a
But
Herculean task.
we're gonna make an attempt.
Run me through that math again, bro?
I work 8 hours and 30 minutes, and my job ends at 7 o'clock in the morning. So that means I go to work at 10:30.
Yes, I would consider that a logical conclusion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds alright.
Because that's not what they fucking wrote down on my sheet. But also, the reason why I had a hesitation over that is because the bars where they write the time slots for are only big enough to fit two numbers.
Hmm.
So she can only write 10 in the bar spot for the time period that I work at.
Amazing.
But I know for a fact that I only work 8 hours and 30 minutes, including my unpaid break.
Yes, I see.
So, anyway, hello, Internet. This is Fanfiction Contempt Theater 9004, episode 70-something, I think. 80-something? We're getting up there again. It's getting close to that time again.
82,
Mm-hmm.
apparently.
Fucking hell. Really? Damn. Okay.
Yep.
Anyway, no real story to tell. Nothing really much happened.
Oh, wow.
No,
Just the
no outrageous
hate
shit.
of mankind.
Gray got contacted again about people thinking that the Undying Scarab story is dead, which we both realize is understandable. But at the same time, Gray's already answered this question multiple times on his profile, which is where
see.
people are asking him about it on again and again. So if they
Yep.
literally they took the time to scroll down to the spot where they could input a new post on his profile, but they didn't take the time to read the, like, was it 3 or 4 posts now that you said yes, it's still alive?
Yes, it's still alive. Dave, the chapter plan is set up. Life is getting in the way.
Yeah.
3
or 4 times now.
It's great
And you don't
because,
have to do anything.
It's really impressive how little people actually read. I'm gonna start having now written these stories with Gray and having endured the absolute dipshittery that is Space Battles posting when it comes to commenters. I'm now starting to understand why so many of these really shit stories have such high like counts and favorite counts. It's because these people don't fucking read.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's just like, people will make comments about the chapter being like, well, why didn't X happen? And it's like, what are you talking about? X literally happened. We wrote out the exact thing you are complaining about us not writing explicitly. It's not even subtly hidden in the chapter. It is explicitly written out. That's happening in the chapter. And you are still here post-chapter commenting saying, why didn't it happen?
Why didn't it happen this way? Why
It's like-
couldn't she have done this?
You clearly didn't read the fucking story if you're asking these questions.
Why didn't she
well,
bury
no.
the children?
It's
Right.
entirely possible.
Why did she just bury the children 15 feet underground?
Here's the thing: it's entirely possible they read it, but did they comprehend it? Now, there's another question.
Fair. Yes, that's fair. Reading comprehension is apparently very low, so I'll give you that one. Yeah.
Apparently
anyway,
a baby can do better. Just like with
wanted
medication.
to do something a little bit different today, and that's go back to the good old front page.
Oh yes.
Oh no.
This is a
Great.
mistake. Are you sure you want to do this?
Yes. So, guys, pick
Okay.
out a setting that we want to read.
Halo?
Halo it is.
Oh god, why?
That was the first thing that popped in my mind that I don't like at all. So
Halo.
You motherfucker gay.
Alright, rating everything, length all, language English, why? Lingua Latina.
I'm sorry.
Why is this capitalized? Why does this exist? Why is there a story for it? Halo Glasslands Español.
Wait, so they put it in fucking Latin? Oh, I think I know what happened. They thought it was Latin American, but it's not.
It's Lingua Latina now.
Yeah.
But there's Spanish right here.
Yep.
And Portuguese also. So that covers both of the...
Yep, it should.
Mm-hmm.
But see, Sneaky, you're thinking about it, and that's your first mistake.
But why?
Exactly.
So, anyway, here's the front page of the Halo section. Oh, Jesus.
Ah, god.
Oh, no. The Broken Shadow. Spartans are broken by war, but would two fix each other, or will they kill each other over their flaws? What?
I am not sorry for inflicting this upon us.
Spartan times Spartan. OC self-insert.
Oh boy! So I came back just in time to hear the most cursed words on our channel.
Spartan OC self-insert?
Yes.
Oh, God. I'm not shocked at all that this only has 4 favorites.
Gee.
You know, I'm always glad when we find something like this and it's just unbelievably
Oh, God,
disliked, which is
no!
heartening to my soul.
Mm-hmm.
Reincarnated as John 117's clone.
Oh boy, we're going full Gundam with this.
We all know that Flash clones in Halo lived normal but crippled lives. Some more than others.
No, they did not! Most of them died!
Yeah, within the year.
Most of them died horribly. The ones that didn't were hideous cripples. It took them what? Like 140 something tries to get one functioning Flash clone of Halsey's brain that they then zapped immediately to make Cortana.
Yes.
Indeed.
And that some would probably not die long after. What happened to 117's clone? This is the story of someone who had great ambitions in life but no talent to reach it, who then reincarnated as John's Flash clone. Gifted with the gamer skill, these ambitions would come to fruition.
No, being the Master Chief's clone isn't enough for you, really, kid?
You know, a gamer set might be the only thing that would even keep one of those in relatively good condition.
Yeah, pretty much.
I
To be fair.
mean, look, if you're starting off as a Flash clone...
I'm sorry, I just realized. If they take the gamer power set to the logical extreme, it doesn't make your body like its ideal, it makes it what it thinks the ideal is, which is keeping you barely functioning as a Flash clone, technically.
Yes, pretty much. But also, I would like to point out that John 117 canonically isn't that great of a Spartan.
Now, he is still a Spartan, which does put him in, like, the 99th percentile for darn near everything.
Right. But my point here is that, like, the author is positioning that, oh, now that I'm John's Flash clone, I'm gonna be amazing. And it's like, no, actually, John was considered not a great Spartan. He was obviously still a Spartan, still an extremely capable Spartan, and he was competent across the board in everything, but he was never considered the best or even near the best in any trait.
Wasn't he actually like... I think I remember the book was like, yeah, this kid's kind of a runt.
Yes.
But he's weirdly lucky.
Yeah, that was what he was known for. He was the luckiest Spartan because whenever he did shit kind of just went his way. Like, if he planned for an ambush to happen, then, like, a rock slide would occur, causing the ambush to work out even better and shit. Like, it was just a lot of convenient things happened while he was doing stuff.
Yeah, well, he was weirdly competent in that, like, he was in the higher percentiles for the Spartans.
Right, and I'm not saying like he was the lowest of anything. Like, I'm just saying like he was good
was
at
more
everything.
Average to above average. He wasn't the best at
exactly.
marksmanship. He wasn't the best at blowing shit up.
But again, you also have
to take
still
one of the assholes fucking up the bell curve.
Pretty much. And like the thing here is like he was a Spartan, which made him a badass. John, if he was a normal child and grew up a normal child, would make maybe an okay Marine if it came down to it, but he would probably just end up doing some job on his home planet that might be like accounting or something because his parents
doing it pretty well.
Yeah,
but
I
not
think his parents
like...
were rich or something. But so he might end up looking as an accountant or a banker or a lawyer or something and be pretty good at it. But like he's not genetically inclined to succeed, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I would say, ironically enough, becoming a Spartan was probably the best thing that ever happened to him. Because, like, like the likes of Kelly or Fred or Linda, all of which who were, Spartans. So still hyper competent at everything, but with a definite, like, area of excelling.
Right.
Like, Linda was the fastest Spartan.
No, Kelly wasn't it?
Or no, I'm sorry, Kelly was the fastest. Linda was the best sniper, right? Like, Kelly would have gone on to be some kind of, I don't know if they still have the Olympics in 2020 whatever.
20
in 20 fuck you, but like she would certainly be some kind of pro athlete.
Right.
Linda would gone on, right? even if she didn't enter a career of high-profile fame, like, probably would have found her way into some kind of marksman career.
Maybe. Hopefully.
Fred.
That's always the theory.
Fred was just some kind of monstrous brick shithouse.
Yeah.
He would have been fine.
Yeah, and so it's like, I know what the author thinks is gonna happen, but it's like, that's not, it's like, oh, I'm a Flash clone of a Navy SEAL, but before he became a Navy SEAL, like when he was a little child. It's like, okay, so that means you're probably good enough to become a Navy SEAL, but you aren't a Navy SEAL. You become a Navy SEAL through training and rigor and mentality, not because you were born right.
And in the case of Spartans, really, really lucky in drug trials.
Right, that too.
Like, add all of the difficulty of becoming a Navy SEAL, then add on the fact that you gotta survive some wicked drug trials.
And so it's just like, I hate this. I hate this whole premise, because the author is directly saying that no, Master Chief was always slated to be amazing at everything. And now that I'm his clone, I will also be amazing at things. Like, no. That would work for, like, Samus, because she was genetically created from the ground up, effectively.
Was she?
Yeah, more or less. Like,
I understand. There was a significant amount of genetic tinkering on Samus.
Yeah, and like before she even hit her teens, the Chozo did an amazing amount of genetic tinkering on her. So, yes, if you were born as Samus's clone of like 10 years of age or later, it would be really just by default.
You won the genetic lottery. Congratulations. You're
Well,
also
it's not so
part
much
bird.
of a lottery as it was like a. It was kind of rigged. Like, Samus wasn't special before the Chozo found her.
Oh, in no way.
They made her special.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so, like, yes, there was some training that also went into it, but there was a lot of genetic editing. A lot. They put their entire megalith of genetic mastery into Samus because she was supposed to do something, and I forget what the lore was on that one, but she was actually important for something.
Yeah.
And so they did a lot of genetic tampering with her. She's also,
I believe what it was Samus was awesome. Or they found little baby orphan Samus, and they were like, the Chozo, for whatever reason, couldn't make any more children.
right,
And they're like,
yeah.
we'll make this person the scion of our culture, and we'll make
Yeah.
her undying.
Yeah. She was the chosen one in a less prophecy sense, and in more of a literal, they found an orphan and chose her.
Yep, that's a child. That's fucking good.
We have selected this orphan by dint of being the orphan on our planet.
By
Was
dint
the
of being the
spaceship
first
white?
orphan we discovered.
Congratulations, you are now an orphan. Please do not resist.
No, the Chozo did not do that.
No, I'm pretty sure her family died to space pirates, and then the Chozo showed up and were like, hey, this girl didn't die to the space pirates.
Nice.
Hey,
Yeah.
little girl,
What
we're
happened
gonna
in-
give you a bunch of genetic editing, and you can go kill space pirates. And she's like, cool.
Hey,
hey,
kid,
free
do you want to
child.
be able to rip Ridley's jaw off? Yes.
Yeah, that came in real handy.
Hey,
for
kid,
revenge,
do you
'cause
like violence?
I'm pretty sure it was Ridley's crew that
It was.
destroyed the colony.
Yeah,
ship.
it was
Yeah.
Ridley's crew. That's why she hates Ridley so fucking much.
Yeah.
Ridley literally killed her parents in front of her.
Yeah. Halo feet first!
Oh no. Guru has invaded the Halo fandom.
Gara's considering selling a chopping board with her on it, by the way.
Of course she is.
Are we sure she's not considering selling something else?
She's also considering selling feet-based merchandise.
Yeah.
She's something else.
I would
This
say
is
this is
precisely
unsurprising.
no one.
Well, it was actually her manager that told her she should do it.
Base
Oh,
manager.
Japanese managers, please stop encouraging profligate degeneracy.
Halo Feet First covers the story of a team of UNSC orbital shock troopers of the 7th Battalion, the 105th Shock Troop Division. The main character, Duncan Iris, faces the horrors of the Covenant War against humanity, as well
I'm sorry,
as
did
the
you say
brave...
Isaacs or Idaho?
Iris.
Same thing.
Okay, because I would say, because I'm like, someone just read and/or watched Dune.
No.
Iris,
Against
it's
humanity
Iris.
as the brave retaliation of an outnumbered and outgunned UNSC force. However, he also witnesses the turning of the tides as the war progresses. Someone actually, I was reading a fiction recently that had the Arbiter in it, and one of the elites in command was arguing with him about humans, and it basically got into it delivered a great line, in my opinion, about how despite the Covenant outgunning them, outnumbering them, humanity not only survived but managed to start pushing them back, despite being completely outswept on technology, outswept on numbers, just blown out of the park in terms of weaponry that they can level. Humanity still kind of won. I was like, yeah,
That's just how we do.
kind of true.
Yeah.
Your main issue is you
point.
didn't kill us fast enough.
Big mistake.
Big mistake.
You did not kill us with
Now-
haste. Therefore, we have begun to harvest your technology.
Basically, we've begun adapting. Also, Cole Protocol, just being like, all right, well, we're gonna lose this one, boys. Time for a nuclear suicide rush.
Not just time for nuclear suicide run. If you're about to die, or if the enemy's about to capture you, delete the way home. But what if we win? Load the hard backup that's stored only in the captain's head. What if the captain dies? Better hope the AI lived.
Pretty much. So now there is 7 books, almost 8 books of this. 101 chapters.
Wow.
92 favorites.
Well done for a foot fetishist.
92 favorites. That's not good.
Yeah.
I'm a clone of Master Chief with gamer powers, has 154 favorites and only 7,000 words. And this dude who wrote 8 goddamn books has nearly half that.
Unfortunate.
I don't know whether that means it's that bad or just people are interested in the premise, which admittedly, I'm not interested in the premise at all.
Very true.
Like, ODST as a game wasn't that fun. Like, the gunplay was good.
protest.
No, don't get me wrong, the gunplay was good, but like, the story was
Yeah, I'll grant you the story wasn't anything to write home about, but
which is kind of the point, though, is I'm trying to make, is because you don't have gameplay in a book. You have only story.
Wow, bro, this text looking hella sick though.
Bottom text.
Damn, bro, these hallucinations hitting different.
The hallucinations written on dead trees hitting different now.
True.
But, you know what I mean? Like, ODST as a story wasn't that great, and this is ODST as 8 books. And it's like, oh. Maybe like an interlude I could see being interesting, like in the story of Covenant shit happening, and you have an interlude of ODST stuff happening, and it's like, okay, that's kind of cool, yeah, I dig that. But 8 books of my character is a normal human shooting at monsters. Somehow living through it all. Yeah,
Doesn't
I don't know.
interest me.
Yeah, it's not super interesting. It's like if someone wrote a Warhammer book, but it was from the view of an Imperial Guardsman who manned the artillery piece. It's like, oh,
Boom. Boom.
I
Boom.
shot the artillery, and shot
say,
more artillery, and then we
They
were
did
overrun.
that in the Kane books, and then they decided, wow, this is boring. Kane better get attacked into the next 30 seconds, or we won't have an audience.
Yeah, literally, that's kind of my point. Is like, because the problem is your character is a fallible, normal, unpowered human being, and don't get me wrong, ODST, badasses, love them, adore them, they're great. I love them in the story and the lore, all of it. It's just they're literally normal people fighting an alien threat using vastly inferior technology to do so. It's like the
Yeah.
town guardsman trying to fight, I don't know, a Batarian from Mass Effect invading the country.
It's like the village watchman trying to face down a giant.
Right, it could be cool, but at the same time, the technological disparity is so extreme, and he's using fucking space magic bullshit, and you have a sword, and possibly hardened leather armor.
I was gonna say, it's almost like what happens when the level 20 adventurers decide they wish to do a crime in town.
Basically, yeah, it's
Mhm.
Could the story be cool from the guardsman's perspective? Maybe. 8 books of it?
No.
Not really, no. But you know what? I think we should read Reincarnated as John's clone, because I feel like that'll be suitably cringe.
Great.
Understandable.
So, here's the link.
I wish to perish.
You will not.
You cannot.
It is currently 30 degrees out, according to my weather report.
Yeah, that's how it
Amazing.
be, my friend.
That's shorts weather.
That's just how it be sometimes.
Chapter 1. I died.
Oh, okay.
My name is not important.
Thanks for reading.
And the same to me. What?
That?
My name is not important and the same to me. Is he trying to say he's not important? Okay. I was just an average guy that worked to support his hobbies, had almost no social life, and had only one best friend that I had gotten distant to after moving with my parents to save money on rent. What, do you not have Discord or something? My lack
You
of
don't have
social
Discord
life.
or
Right.
text message or...
No phone. My lack of social life degraded my communication skills. I mean, Christ. Max remembers those days from me where I barely would talk. Even I still had communication skills. Combined
Yeah,
with... What?
No, just there was a time where I would call you up randomly and it's like, oh hey, someone to talk to. It's like, what do you mean, Sneaky? I haven't talked in 3 days.
Yeah.
I don't know how the fuck your vocal cords functioned after that.
Poorly. They functioned poorly. In fact, it wasn't until we started doing this podcast that I actually started talking regularly to people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Combined with the fact that I'm nervous talking to new people, going to make interviews makes me appear what this guy doing here. I also haven't studied further and only finished high school. Well, you mean, okay, look, I'm gonna be real with you here. You don't really need to talk much in an interview where you haven't gone to high school. We only went to high school. If you're doing a job that requires you to only have a GED, typically they're hiring you for your pulse, not your stellar academic record.
Yep.
Yeah.
Are you a breathing human being with a functioning brain cell? Congratulations, you're part of
Will we get in
HoloLive.
trouble for hiring you? No. Congratulations, here's your job.
Brain cell function is optional.
Well, singular brain cell, I will give at least credit to most people. But
Fair enough.
multiple brain cells, I would label with doubt. Yes.
Yeah.
All I did was play video games, read fan fiction, and attempt to write good fan fiction. Only I never posted any of it. Not confident that I would get good feedback. What a pussy! What
Damn,
a
bro.
baby! Oh, I didn't want to post anything of mine because I was scared people might not like it. Bitch, that's how you get better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorites are writing about civilization building of alternate humanities or different species. So that's why you never posted your fan fiction, because it's boring as shit to everyone else. Because there's no substance to it beyond world building.
Amazing.
I love technology, especially fictional technology. Now, hold on. If anything has been explained to me, there's very little fictional technology. It's just technology we haven't gotten yet.
I was gonna say, like,
Yeah.
look, as much as I dislike Gene Roddenberry's vision of a peaceful, happy future where everybody's like working together because it's never gonna happen, like Star Trek has been pretty much directly responsible for a bunch of
Yeah.
a lot.
I mean, a lot of sci-fi tech has just been, this was originally dreamed up by authors, and then someone who had a more military application looked at the sci-fi tech and go, hey, you know what? I think we can actually do that.
Sneaky, why is the timer on?
I don't know. It keeps turning back on.
Oh. Also, civilization and world building. If it's any good, you shouldn't be writing fiction. You should be working with, like, teams to make.
The worlds, yeah.
Like, listen, you build the world, and then sell it to someone else to make stories in it.
I mean, that's basically what Gray and I are doing together, so yeah.
There is, in fact, a market for that.
There are multiple markets for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Anyway. It was too bad in real life I only had basic computer skills and suck at math.
Side note, Sneaky, at some point we need to
Yeah.
actually write our story.
Yeah, we do, yes. We do. Yeah. I had no ambitions or goals, and I very much wanted to study further to be an engineer, scientist, or someone that could bring change. I was just not smart enough, nor had the skills, no matter how hard I tried. Well, you clearly didn't try very hard, because you still only have a high school degree. Now, not saying that college degrees are worth all that much in this day and age, but they are worth something to specific certain fields, like engineering.
Yeah, well, and depending on the engineering, you're better off saying fuck the degree, go be a journeyman's apprentice for a year or two.
Oh,
At the
yeah.
very least, go to a trade
Right,
school.
well, yeah.
Do not go to college.
Yeah.
Hit up trade schools. That was probably the biggest mistake I made going to university for engineering instead of something else. If I wanted to stick for engineering, I should have just gone to one of the many contacts my father had at the time.
Yeah, pretty much. But point being is that this all points to the author not trying very hard. Their self-insert not trying very hard at doing anything.
I had dreams and ambitions, but no talent or skill. Well, it doesn't sound like you worked very hard.
Either the dude's exceptionally lazy, or he's autistic, or something like.
Well, I mean, also on top of that, there's also that he's claiming that I wasn't as good or as smart as Bill Gates or other famous people that made changes. It's like, Bill Gates wasn't smart. He was a good, just like Steve Jobs, they were both really good merchants. They knew how to talk to people, they knew how to work with what they had, and they knew how to sell it. Neither of them were very good programmers, and neither of them were very good software engineers. They just found all the people that did that and then marketed it well.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, I wish I could have been like Bill Gates, with my science degree. It's like, yeah.
If I was gonna wish to be Bill Gates, I'd wish for the marketing skills.
Right, exactly.
Because that's what, like you said, that's what he had.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying
great.
though, is clearly this person isn't super motivated as they're making themselves out to be, because they didn't even look to see what made Bill Gates famous. They were just like, oh, Bill Gates is famous, so that means he's smart. No.
Obviously,
I want to be like
that
Bill
sounds-
Gates, but I'm not going to look into anything about what made Bill Gates Bill Gates.
Time to go commit eugenics in Sudan. Oops, I'm Bill Gates.
Look, you were just trying to find a cure for malaria.
Yeah, just doing my best. Don't worry about it.
But it's just like, I loathe people like this. Because they make me look bad, because I'm also a lazy asshole. But at the same time, I'm not like, oh, I want to be like Steve Jobs. I want to be the brilliant programmer like Steve Jobs. It's like,
We've gerbs. Get it right.
they took our gerbs.
They took our Steve Jobs.
I love how I've joined it and get blasted by this kid's boring backstory and mindless hobbies. Such riveting content. I know, right? Yeah.
Yeah. You can find Gray.
Could have been summarized with, I'm a useless autistic weeb who really likes technology and sci-fi. And that you could have just covered up everything else. None of that was needed. It's never going to come up again either, because clearly we all know he's being isekai'd. And everyone knows that the isekai backstory never matters beyond the first chapter of introducing the character. Never comes up again, never becomes relevant again. You don't need to tell us all this. Just call yourself a useless fucking weeb and we can just move on. Yes, I will directly attack everyone's health points with that one.
Cool.
I died from a sudden heart condition at 25. He must have gotten the vaccine.
Like,
I'm gonna be real. Probably sounds more like this kid was the fattest, laziest fish
he
in the
was
pond.
probably really fucking fat.
I mean,
Had the diabetes.
these are related.
Don't know how I
excuse
got
me.
it, but it hurt like a bitch, and then I died.
Diabetes.
Don't know how he got it, guys. But we can all make some educated guesses. Joke's on you, I attack myself on a regular basis, so this doesn't hurt. Oh no, Nexus has built up damage reduction.
Oh fuck! Oh god.
Sneaky.
He's
He
too
kept
powerful.
stacking. He took the barbarian trait. Every time he gets damage, he gets DR.
I still can't get over the fact that Faceless just straight up let me include as a class feature the ability to add vulnerability to the damage type I'm dealing. For free.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is actually. So anyway, I wasn't a big fan of religion, and finding out what's on the other side, well, I never did get to find out. Well, I mean, couldn't this be the other side? I'm just saying, like, if you die, and then you kind of like sort of semi-wake up, and you're like being, you got a game prompt in front of you of like continue game or new game plus mode, wouldn't that just be the other side of death? Like,
Yeah.
yo, wow, it's not heaven or hell, but that doesn't make it not the other side.
Well, it's true. You didn't go to heaven, and you didn't go to hell. You did go somewhere.
Die. Come back to life. Oh no, the Hindus were right. Ah, shit, the gods were aliens.
Fuck. Oh no, I have not escaped
Oh,
the cycle
no. The
and
gods
reached
were
Nirvana. Fuck, Buddha was right all along.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, right? Statistically, if he's the one who's right, then I can be wrong as many times as I need to. Like,
That's
I can
not
pick
true.
the wrong religion an
Very
infinite
true.
number of times.
Yeah.
Yes, Hinduism is very forgiving like that, yes.
But right,
Buddhism,
but see,
yeah.
that's the thing. So statistically, there's a lot more religions where
Also, as far as Hinduism goes, I'm not a super expert on it, but your actions count more than your beliefs.
yeah, well,
Everything you just said is Buddhism, my dude.
Oh, is that really?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Buddhism is
See-
the whole karma reincarnation thing.
See,
Hinduism is like
that's why I was,
fucking
yeah.
blue gods.
There we go.
Yeah.
So, and so you can just tell how little knowledge I actually have of the Oriental religions.
Yeah, well, Oriental.
I
That's
thought you were
racist.
about to say the Orientals for a second. I was like, sneaky.
Racismus.
What the fuck else am I supposed to call them? We have the Abrahamic religions. These are the
Yeah.
Oriental religions. And then we have the pagan religions, which, yes, is defined by the Abrahamic
I mean-
religions, but hey,
The correct term would probably be dharmic.
Dharmic?
Yeah.
That encapsulates what? Shinto, Hindu, and Buddhism?
No. It's fucking Hinduism, Buddhism, I think. Well, different variants of Buddhism. I don't remember entirely.
Well, that's why I'm saying Oriental. I'm referring to that whole
I just-
geographical location.
Everything in the East.
Yeah,
Yep. It's fair.
yeah. But, oh, Jesus Christ. Welcome to the gamer. You have been chosen randomly to start a new life. Before you get sent on your way, please answer the following questionnaire. Don't like your previous personality? Alter it by adding traits. Only 2 can be added and 2 removed. It was pitch black, and with only the holographic screens in front of me, it took a minute to get out of my shock and to accept that yes, this was happening. I don't know. I don't think I'll be shocked if that ever happens to me. I'll just be like,
I would say at this point in time, I'll be like, took it long enough.
no, I'm more along those. Fuck. Because you know, if you end up being the gamer, your life is about to get like Chinese. Hope you have interesting times levels of. I'm not gonna have a peaceful moment for like the next 40 years.
Yeah, I will say that's
Yeah.
probably the best curse ever. May you live a long and interesting life.
You bastard.
Yeah. You're about to have a sans experience.
A list of my traits showed up. Remove pessimism and shy. Add confidence and optimism. Sue me, I tried to improve myself, but after I constantly was disappointed, I became a negative person. Fuck you, author. I'm still an optimist, I'm just also a realist about it, which, you know, doesn't make me much of an optimist, but I'm still an optimist. Fuck you. I became a pessimist. Fuck you. You let yourself become a pessimist, which is a very pessimistic thing to do. Bitch. The gamer will be gifted to you once you finish spinning the wheel. Spin the wheel.
Oh god.
The wheel before me appeared, split into 100 zones named after games and anime. Oh god.
I always knew real life was a gacha game.
Well, I mean, does that mean Moth picked out a common?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm already retarded, but this is giving me an aneurysm.
Yeah. Turns out mental damage can stack.
It turns out mental damage.
We've always known that shit stacks.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, can you imagine a giant wheel filled with every anime and game you've ever known or played? Oh man, I would be fucked. There is so much shit on there I would never want to be reincarnated into. Holy shit.
Yeah. That's serious fucky wucky moment.
So I spun the wheel! And it spun for a minute before stopping. Get ready to be sent to the Halo universe! Oh shit! One of my favorite games with my favorite technology. I wasn't a big
The
fan
Halo
of the
universe
first
is a
game.
terrible place
Oh,
to be.
Burn this man! Burn this man alive! He's not a fan of the first game. My go-to was Halo 3, but this was dangerous.
I mean, that's acceptable.
I mean, it's acceptable, but fuck this, man. Oh, I wasn't a big fan of Halo 1. Fuck you. And then I felt a strong pull and knew no more. Blah, blah, blah. Another time and place. John's Flash clone would have died months after being replaced, spending most of its time bedridden and dying, leaving his friends and parents to grieve, not knowing he was a Flash clone all along.
That
But
was in
not
fact the
this
point.
time. Honestly, I'm pretty sure Oni would have just gone and assassinated any of them that lived. Nexus. Let's get rid of my negative character traits and try to write a self-insert that's an idealized version of myself without my flaws, despite not knowing how being confident feels like. Indeed.
Yeah, that's a point.
Question, would y'all choose to live in the Pokemon universe? Abso-fucking-lutely.
Pokemon universe
Yeah.
is great.
Yeah, well, it depends. Is it realistic physics Pokemon universe? Or is it anime / game Pokemon universe?
Literally any of the Pokemon universes are actually pretty good, besides
Yeah,
Mystery
I'm just
Dungeon.
saying, like, if you take the Pokedex's word as fact, then Lantern can delete
Look, man,
literally the entire universe.
I am firmly in the camp that the Pokedex was actually written by the 6 to 12-year-olds that found the Pokemon.
You know, that's actually fair.
Like, new Pokemon gets discovered, but it's like some fucking 12-year-old, and they're like, Mag Cargo is 10 bajillion degrees! It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the guy that discovered it. He gets to put the Pokedex description in there.
Yeah. Well, it also explains why the ghost Pokemon are so fucked up. Because of course kids are terrified of ghosts.
Right, yeah.
This stump is made from the souls of dead children.
You know, I feel like the ghost ones, however, are actually all completely real. But the problem is they're surrounded with, like the children were terrified of all the ghosts, so they never caught the ghosts. But, like, the actual researchers caught the ghosts, and were like, yeah, the ghosts eat kids. Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
So,
And then
like, the
everyone
ghost
looked at
ones
that
might
and was
be
like,
the
oh,
only
this is an
accurate
exaggeration. Because, like, the Mag Cargo one was an exaggeration, the Gardevoir one was an exaggeration, the Champ was an exaggeration. Why wouldn't the description about ghosts eating children be an exaggeration? No, it turns out that was real. That was the real one.
Yeah. Turns out the kid who found it got eaten. Oops.
Whoopsie.
Oh no.
I'm also
Anyway.
of the opinion that ghosts are a lot rarer in the in an actual Pokemon world than they are in video games, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or at
Well,
least
here's the
should
thing,
be.
right? I'm a lot less scared of a ghost in that universe because as long as I have a $10 consumable item, I can catch that ghost.
True. Also, Pokeballs are actually $200.
No, because
Oh,
the
they should only be-
Pokedollars are based on the Japanese yen.
Oh, are
Ja-
they?
Yeah.
Japanese yen.
Yeah, they're directly
So that's like
just
that's
the yen.
literally $2.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's $2.
$2 a
$2.
Pokeball,
Interesting.
10 if you want a great ball, I think.
Yep.
Okay,
no, that's
so I
Ultra
can
Ball.
spend $10 to have a
No,
very.
it's 7 for a great ball, 12 for an ultra ball.
Oh, then,
I was gonna say,
those
I
those
can
are pretty
spend
fucking cheap.
$7 to have a really good chance of catching a ghost and making
Oh.
it serve me for all times.
Well, also it's
Yeah.
$7 for an incredibly advanced computer that's capable of digitizing and shrinking itself.
Well, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
just saying, like,
Kind of insane.
Okay. Quantum technology.
Nexus brings up, wouldn't the Pokedex entries be reviewed by a professor or something? No, not really. If they're getting 12-year-olds to do their work for them, I can't really imagine there's too many rigors or restrictions on labor laws or quality content.
Yeah, but look, Sneaky, they couldn't raise tuition for the Pokemon University anymore, so they had to cut the budget of the professors.
Yeah. Okay. C8, you can't say people did the math and it checks out, and then mention that everything would melt.
Yeah.
Because that means the math doesn't check out.
Yeah, because Mag Cargo clearly doesn't melt everything around them.
Also, lots of other people check the math and say that it wouldn't be realistic, so you're going to have to explain that one to me, buddy, because someone's lying with their variables.
Indeed.
Somebody's math is wrong, and I'm betting it's yours.
Yeah, pretty much. Point being, though, is this is also, you gotta keep in mind, this is also the Pokedex that gets handed out to the kids. So, they probably left the kid entries in for the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, because isn't the oldest protagonist you have is estimated to be like maybe 14?
Yeah.
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 And that's in what? Black and White, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Because Black and White decided to talk about the morals of making Pokemon pit fight for money.
Although, I will say this, some of those Pokedex entries would explain why the Great War is rumored to have been like a fucking, what was it? One of the theories is that the Great War was so fucking bad, that's why you don't see a lot of grown men and women running around as trainers. 10 is the starting age now because half the adult population was just fucking wiped.
Well, I mean, the other thing is like, I never really understood the whole we're making Pokemon pit fight. Like, I could understand a minority of Pokemon being forcibly captured after, like, you know, poacher raids or something. But you're a fucking 11-year-old kid just walking through a common nature trail used by humans to the point where everyone's just like, oh yeah, that's the trail we just let 10-year-olds take because that's just, you know, the trail.
Safe enough.
If you encounter a Pokemon on that trail, Pokemon are intelligent enough to be sapient. So if you encounter a Pokemon on that trail, it clearly is either A, too stupid to live, or B, it wants to be a pit fighter.
Yeah.
Also, because I mean, the Sapiens one's a little iffy.
That depends on the that depends on the species for the most part.
Not really. No, like
no, some are kind of dumb.
You say some are dumb. I'm not saying they're all like 120 IQ. I'm just saying we have 60 IQ humans. I'm not saying we can't have 60 IQ Pokemon too. But you know, if they didn't want to encounter humans, it's very easy to not do that in the Pokemon world.
Yeah.
And it's not like you in Pokemon are going out of your way to hunt them down. Like, yes, the forest kind of, sorta, you're hunting them down kind of, sorta. But again, a majority of the forest is closed off to you in the games.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and the other thing is, like, you can't force them to fight, and it's like...
The fuck do you mean? I'm 10 years old. If they don't want to fight, they can just turn around and shoot me with their fucking lasers and shit. What am I gonna do to a 10-year-old?
Look at how regularly Pikachu tells Ash to go fuck himself.
Yeah.
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 Do this! I don't fucking wanna. Charizard, do this!
It's just, it's always rung hollow to me. It's like, so the Pokemon don't want to fight. It's like, then why the fuck are they participating in this?
Yeah,
especially
it's not like dogs that are being trained to fight. It's
like I read through most of the Pokemon Adventure manga, which is the Pokemon story we deserve. But like they show the panels, and when it gets to black and white, and I'm looking at the panels, and the turn's like, you go free now. And the Pokemon are like, what the fuck? I thought we were friends. Why are you just abandoning me?
Yo, dude.
I enjoyed the fighting. Come on.
Yeah.
And still others were just like, they weren't even fighters. They weren't trainers. They just had Pokemon as pets.
Yeah.
And they're like, you can go back to the wild now. The Pokemon's like, why would I do that? You take care of me for free. All I have to do is give you companion.
You see the exact same behavior. I mean, like, I've been to animal reservations before, you know, places where wild animals can get kept and cared for when they, like, get hurt and shit. And a major problem at animal reservations is they have to be carefully monitored to make sure the animal doesn't feel too safe at the reservation, because then they won't leave.
Yeah, because they know that if they stay here, they get taken care of.
Yeah.
for
Yep.
a lot less work
Yeah.
than risking your life every other
single
day for a
second,
meal.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is it wrong to make a pokey harem if they're all sentient and sapient? Yes, because that's race mixing, and we don't do that here.
Jesus goddamn Christ.
Man's got a point, though.
I'm sorry, Max. Are you pro bestiality?
You
You
know
can't say it's wrong.
exactly my problem with the wording you picked.
I was gonna say, we have objection to the words you picked, not the concept you espoused, sir.
Oh god.
You make it too easy.
Oh. But no, it's weird. As far as wrong, I'll look at you really fucking skeptically if you say your Pokemon harem includes Pachirisu, Shroomish, and Mudkip. But I mean, fucking hell, if you want to be like, oh yeah, my Pokemon harem has like Baniri or Gardevoir in it, I'd be like, you're weird, but whatever, fine.
At least it looks like a person.
Could be worse.
Yeah, pretty much. Could be worse. At least you're not fucking a stump filled with the souls of dead children.
Yeah.
Boy, there's a fucking conversation piece right there.
God damn it, Anani. Anyway, so as I was saying, I'm pretty sure that Oni would just assassinate any clone that didn't die. Like, they're like that. So I don't really think the Flash clone living will be living long. Back to this story, instead of, you know, our spicy conversation. Being known as the Game Master activated his ability, changing how his body worked, and inserted a new soul into it and healed him.
Niet.
That's cringe.
That is pretty cringe. Yeah.
That's cringe, and everything you just said is cringe, author. The end.
The way the clones died was organ failure because of bad genes, the doctors claimed.
No, it's not bad genes.
No. Cloning technology, while advanced, was not perfect. Fully cloned clones don't live very long. Actually, they do. Like, there's actual cloning technology in Halo. It's just, it's super expensive, and no one sees any point in doing it. Because it takes a long time to genuinely clone something. Which is why flash cloning was invented, and why they only flash cloned organs, because you can actually get a pretty good organ out of flash cloning. It's just when you try and flash cloning an entire person, well, it doesn't actually work that great, because you kind of rushed the whole growing process across the board for a full fucking human. And humans are big. A little bit bigger than a heart or a lung.
They're a little bit bigger than that. And Sneaky, what's the ratio of our cells dying in the murder factory?
Huh?
Like the genetic murder cleanup factory that our body has for the defective cells. Isn't it like 98% or something?
It's like something around 10,000 to 10,000 cancer cells are killed every day by your body's immune system. Yeah.
Like, our body's reproductive system routinely and regularly makes errors, so much so that either evolution or God, whichever you prefer to believe in, chose that we needed a method to say, this is the wrong one.
No,
It
not
needs
even
to go.
that. It's just we have a 99.99% error correction rate when it comes to errors made in cell replication. The fact that thousands of cells need to be killed per day because of this error, this 0.001% error rate, that should tell you how many cells are replicating each day normally on a normally grown person.
Yeah.
Yeah, every 3 years, your entire body is replaced with new cells. Yeah, effectively. Yeah, and so yeah. There's a lot of cell division going on, and if you try to grow an 8-year-old child in the span of 3 days or however long it takes to flash clone a full person, because it takes like what 3 hours for a heart or something.
No. It's less than that, because remember they were flash cloning kids on the way to kidnap them.
Oh, you're right.
Sometimes it's even less than that, because they were flash cloning them like upon kidnapping them, because sometimes they couldn't get a genetic sample.
No, it's true. Yeah, it's true. So yeah, it was literally like, in the span of 2 hours, we got a new child here. We're just gonna place them there, and you just did literally trillions of billions of cell replications in the span of a time that it would take normally 7 years. Not to mention the hideous amount of error. Like the fact that any of those kids the majority of those kids were capable of speaking and functioning in as much as their bodies allowed them to function. Yeah.
Is mind-boggling.
Yeah. Did you know that biologically immortal human cells exist, are viable, and are widely used by medical experts, but it's cancer? Yeah, I know. Cancer is the result of the Hayflick limit being surpassed on a cell. And the Hayflick limit is basically the point in time where the cell's ability to replicate itself safely stops. Because we don't actually age. It's just our cells get so old, they start having more and more errors pop up. And a majority of those errors tend to be on their own, not problematic ones, but when they all start doing it, you start to end up having issues, and cancer cells are kind of like jumping the line on that issue and tend to be very problematic. Yeah, tell more count goes burr. Yeah, I took a minor in microbiology, and it was some wild fucking shit, and I was just like, what the hell? But it was cool. Don't get me wrong, it was cool. But yeah, no, it's unfortunate because part of the cell's genetic code that keeps it from replicating out of control is also the part that makes it age.
Oops.
Yeah, there is one creature though that we know of that actually has a protein that its body produces that restores the telomere at the end of DNA, causing it to eternally grow at a steady rate. Lobsters. Lobsters are actually immortal. The problem is that they become so old, they aren't able to get out of their shell fast enough, and they either get stuck and can't move anymore, or something eats them as they're shedding.
Aren't jellyfish constantly de-aging themselves as well?
Jellyfish actually go about it a different way. See, how a jellyfish does it is it actually dies, and then its child is itself.
Yeah.
Jellyfish
Just
are
straight up, it's just an underwater phoenix. Got it.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah. Yeah, they fully just replace themselves with their child.
that remembers everything. That's
Yeah.
the thing.
Which, I mean, to be fair, there isn't much a jellyfish can remember.
Yes.
So
But what limited memory it has.
yeah. I wonder how long a human would live if they continued growing eternally. Square law cube, probably. it's hard to say really, because a lot of the examples we have of extremely large humans are actually mutations derived from various environmental and genetic factors. And due to this, there's usually problems with them. Either their heart's not big enough, or their lungs aren't big enough, or other things aren't big enough to properly handle the size due to the bones mutating to be larger, or the muscles mutating to be larger, or etc. And because everything's not growing in sync with each other, they end up dying. But if someone was to eternally grow sort of like a lobster would, I would assume that our aging rate would have slowed significantly, as because we do shoot up, and I mean that's the term we use. We do shoot up from child size to teenager to adult very rapidly with the onset of puberty. But if age was less of a factor, and we didn't really have to worry about that part anymore, we would probably grow a lot slower and a lot more steadily, so everything would still be in sync with each other. The heart would be large enough to supply the entire body, etc., etc. But it would get to a certain point. That's why you only see super large mega creatures, megafauna, in the ocean, because the water helps suspend their mass, because they're so fucking big, and gravity's a problem. So, well, I guess we wouldn't really be able to find out how large a human could get, because there was, mammoths and shit. There were massive creatures we have records of on land.
I mean, elephants exist.
Yeah, I mean, mega sloths existed and shit like that too. It's, there's some
We
really,
do not speak of the
truly,
megasloth.
truly massive creatures existed. We even have, like, what was it, the Giganticus, or whatever the fucking hell it was. And it's like a 3-story tall humanoid. Like, we have some evidence pointing to that being a possible thing that might have existed. Now I say humanoid, I just mean it was sort of like a gorilla in that it had back legs that could walk on normally.
Bipedal, maybe?
Yeah, bipedal, I guess would be a better descriptor, yeah. But yeah, so it's just like, who knows? maybe we'll end up with the orcs, with the humans the size of hills, who are 5,000 years old. Yeah.
You're standing on top of your grandfather right now. Oh, is he buried here? No, you're literally standing on top of him. How's it going, Hugh? Get off my fucking leg.
The atmosphere isn't good enough for megafauna anymore. Oh, actually, yeah, the oxygen count has decreased. That is true. But the atmosphere able to support such creatures really only applies to spiders and the like, spiders and other bugs. Because those bugs breathe through size, and because of the high oxygen content, they were able to be far larger because they were able to take in more oxygen with each breath, which allowed them to support being such a size. But our lungs are pretty big, and we're fairly good at taking in oxygen. We can even live on mountains and shit. We're fairly low oxygen-wise, and still survive pretty well there. So I would suspect we can grow quite a bit larger if those genetic controls weren't in place. I'm glad we don't have giant insects anymore. I don't know, man. I think giant insects would really simplify debugging your house. You wouldn't really have to worry about the spider inside the faucet or something. You just have to be worried about the one spider that's underneath your porch, and all you gotta do is grab your pa's shotgun and square up.
Yeah. Dome that motherfucker.
I mean, I would still prefer. I would still prefer if the answer was no.
I don't know. I mean, I think I could see taming the giant centipedes and riding to school on them.
Fuck that. Ugh, I'm allergic to the very notion.
Yeah, it's probably too cold up here for that. So, thank God.
Imagine cat-sized ants attacking a town. Well, it would make it a lot easier to kill them.
Yeah. Probably wouldn't be as many of them either.
Yeah, that's true as well, yeah. There are more ants than bullets? Well, that's true, but that's only because of how small they are. They can actually do that.
Yeah.
If you had to replace the ants that are currently existing, the rice-sized ants with cat-sized ants, the amount of food they would need would drastically increase, which would mean the amount of food available to each ant would drastically decrease, which means you have to have less ants.
Amazing. It's a self-solving issue.
Yeah, indeed. You know what else is a self-solving issue? Shooting them.
True.
Now, that is to say, like, if every single insect simultaneously mega grew due to, say, a radioactive apocalypse, and we didn't have to wait for generations to evolve to that point, and they sort of popped into that size, we would have a far larger problem on our hands. Yes, true, but I think people really underestimate how well nature does at balancing itself.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, look at what happened with Yellow. Wow, what the fuck there? Look what happened with Yellowstone. It fixed itself real quick when we put some fucking wolves back in.
Yep. I wonder if the ants wouldn't really be able to sustain the whole hive mind thing if they got large enough. It's a good question, to be honest. Because the whole pheromone thing really only works because they're so small and because there's so much more territory for them to cover. Because if you separate ants from the colony for like 2 days, they become foreign to the colony.
And will be killed on sight.
And will be killed by the colony on site, exactly. And because they're so small, however, you can have multiple ant mounds in fairly, to us, close proximity to each other. Because of how small they are and how vast the distance is to their small size. It'd be like me not ever meeting someone up in Massachusetts because I'm in New Jersey. It's like, technically speaking, on a global scale, those states are very close to each other, but on a scale of humans, that's quite a far distance away, and it's sort of like the same thing for an ant who's 3 blocks away from this colony nest. And if the ants were far larger, you would have to assume that the distances between the nests would have to get far larger as well, or else they'd just be attacking each other all the time.
Yeah.
As far as the hive mind being able to stay in place, pheromones become far less directly useful the larger you get. You can still waft the air with them, but ants use them as basically signal lines because of how small they are. They can directly apply it in a straight line, and it can just be that way. But the bigger you get, you aren't really going to be able to, like, trying to apply the same amount of pheromones as a cat-sized ant versus a ant-sized ant. You'd be like trying to sweat out of only one of your pores.
Yeah.
That's a just so very lovely image.
And so producing the same amount of pheromones and placing them the same way would be less akin to a precision line and more akin to a shotgun blast of, hey, go this way, instead of a laser trail. So who knows? Be a cool thing to think about, I suppose. Blah blah blah. Fully cloned limbs, not cloning singular limbs is much more successful. So it came as a great surprise to doctors who were assigned to make sure the clones and perfect results wouldn't be found out, that the clones stabilized suddenly and recovered. Yes, and they only decided to not immediately dissect this clone that stabilized and recovered, because do you know how good having flash clone soldiers would be that you could only, like, literal RTS times to make?
Guys, I think we found a solution to the Covenant. Well, I mean, shit, it's not even the Covenant at this point. Guys, we found a solution to the secessionists.
Indeed. Dr. Cassidy didn't agree with Dr. Halsey was doing morally, but she knew it had to be done due to the growing insurrection. It was also cruel to use unstable clones.
Good! Another moralizing scientist. Just what the Halo universe needed.
Right. It was also very cruel to use unstable clones that would die after they got to live, or luckily, if they were lucky, live to their teens with mental and physical disabilities. Yeah, fair enough, I suppose.
Yes, that is quite cruel.
I don't know why we couldn't have just made those clones brain dead, but, you know, the military does as the military does.
You gotta get those Raytheon contracts somehow.
Wouldn't it be a clone be brain dead, though? You would think that, but, this author wants to thrust moral issues into the story. So no. Probably a mercy to kill it. You won't find me disagreeing. She was shocked that the supposedly soon-to-be dying clone suddenly stabilized out of nowhere and got better. Fair enough, I would be too. Cassidy had been studying cloning for most of her studies to see and how to improve it, and theorized it might be possible to create stable clones, but it was forbidden to make full clones of this field of study.
No, it fucking wasn't.
No, it wasn't. It was just, everyone was just like, look, it's not worth the effort. In her private lab, she compared clone John's DNA to John and found it nearly identical. It was common knowledge that
Wait
twins...
a minute! A clone's genetics was identical to a clone?
So the real thing, yes.
It's a shocker, isn't it, mate?
Twins had different DNA. No, they...
Well, non-identical twins.
No, these
Sure.
no. It was common knowledge that identical twins have different DNA.
Yeah, no.
No. They literally don't. They have the same DNA. Identical twins are formed of one egg. They have literally access to the same DNA.
Identical twins are technically an accident.
I mean, aren't we all?
Is that what your parents told you?
After Clone John's condition stabilized, his DNA, for all intents and purposes, he was now a twin. He was always a twin. He was just dying of cancer before.
Yes, we all know.
Or heart failure
family
or
disappears
something.
when
Well, the
listen,
heart failure
cancer.
was probably from the cancer, so... Though she had an obligation to report this to the UNSC, for once she decided to disregard protocol. Cassidy, of course, the moralizing scientist, had lived and graduated to become a doctor in biology and only moved to this colony for a peaceful life after serving with the army. She had served as a combat medic as well. Then she got a call to make sure the clone was not discovered as a clone, and she would do just that. The original John may have been taken, but this John would be the John that replaces him. And with that, she got to work replacing John's DNA for the new John's DNA.
What?
Yes. Don't question it.
Women.
Question it.
Blah, blah, blah. He suddenly had access to 6 years of memories that he realized that weren't his. Blah, blah, blah. Seemed to be named John. Wow. I'm named John? That's like the John from Spartan 117.
My name is John. This is one of the most common names in the universe, but I shall assume it is the name I wish it to be.
Right, exactly, right? So, oh man. Oh, what's my name? Your name's Henry. What? I'm King Henry?
No,
No.
you're not.
I'm John the Baptist?
Yeah, it's a negative, Ghost Rider.
Get inbred, Harry.
You're inbred, Harry. Pans over to Harry, and he looks like what's his name from the Hunchback of Notre Dame?
Yeah.
Quasimodo?
Yeah, Quasimodo.
Yeah, Quasimodo. He looks like you're inbred, Harry. He goes back to Harry. He's fucking hunched over. His eyes are like on different levels.
You stop shitting on Quasimodo. Quasimodo is a chill dude.
Yes, he was, but still, it's a great image for inbred.
I mean, yes, but that's really mean to poor Quasimodo, because as far as we know, he was just super unlucky.
Fair. Except
Like, you can't use whatever that French king is or whatever.
wow, this logic, this leap of logic right here is ridiculous. What? My name was John, and I'm waking up in a hospital in Halo? That must mean I'm Spartan 117. Except if John, the real John, woke up in a Spartan boot camp and I'm waking up in the hospital, that means I'm his Flash clone.
Certified bro moment.
And then the author continues with, for figuring out who and what you are, +2 int.
No. Yeah,
That-
to it, brah. This is some Gigabrain 45 int leaps.
That was some Rooster Teeth Gigabrain tier plot thread connection right there. Feels like he figured it out a bit too early or easily. Both.
See, I think it would have been hilarious if, right, go with kind of a Tanya situation. Take someone who was a dude, and it's like, hey, you're Linda's clone now. Have fun with that.
Physical stat limit is limited to 50 since you're a human.
50,
If he was in
fucking
Halo...
50?
Yeah. If
Okay,
he was in Halo...
if a human's limit is 50,
Yeah.
that means an elite's gotta be like...
150, easily.
No, an elite would probably be more like 75, 80. Because, like, normal humans could fist fight an elite. Not super well, but they could do it.
No.
Yes.
No. In the original books, the Halo CE books, I believe it was.
Yeah.
They had one of the Spartans fist fighting an elite, and the elite almost overpowered the Spartan while they were in Mjolnir armor. And I'm just talking about pure strength. Like, they were literally doing the whole, like, I'm grabbing your hand and you're grabbing mine and we're pushing on each other sort of thing. And the elite almost overpowered them in the Mjolnir armor.
Oh yeah, that did happen. But here's the problem with that. Then in later books, they have Spartans like winning contests of strength with brutes, and brutes are supposed to be stronger than elites.
Far stronger than elites, to the point where it's...
By a significant magnitude.
Yeah, the brutes
Yes.
were supposed to be to the elites as the elites were to the standard human, in terms of strength.
Right. So something got retconned.
Yeah.
All of which my point suffice to say is either elites got moved down the scale or brutes got moved down the scale. I don't know which. It doesn't really matter because the official canon...
I mean, you could also just say the armor got better. Because they were just using Mark II back then.
Yeah. But, I mean, they were only on Mark IV by the time they were fighting brutes.
To be fair, though, there was a significant increase, supposedly, as we were told, between Mark II and Mark IV.
I mean, I guess, but...
But why does that even matter? Without training, all of the billions of space dollars given in equipment and enchantments, John is just a normie in the galaxy filled with zombies and genocide aliens. Yeah, that's kind of our point was before we started this whole Pokemon tangent and got sidetracked with insects and shit. Literally, John is completely normal. A normal person with normal abilities.
Well, no, he's not a normal
person.
person. He's Like, he is still a Spartan. He is still the cream of the genetic crop.
No, we're
Halsey
talking about
did not.
this John.
Oh yeah.
This
Well,
John.
no, this John would still theoretically be the cream of the genetic crop.
Well, yes, cream of genetic crop doesn't exactly mean much, though, when you're 6 years old.
Yes.
And it also doesn't mean much until you get billions of dollars of technology, training, and, medications pumped into you.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, yeah, sure, this John could go on to become, like, an ODST tier person, but he'd still just be an ODST tier person.
Like, sure, someday he might make it into, the right. If he lives, he might make it to the Spartan 4 program.
Right, exactly,
Maybe.
yeah.
Which, side note,
Would be
the
weird.
fact that Buck is the jobber replacement for the rookie, I'm mad they killed the rookie, but at least they gave us something to laugh about him.
Oh?
Buck is the jobber tier replacement for the rookie in the Spartan 4 program.
Okay. Okay.
From Odious, anyway.
If he was in Halo, he wouldn't be able to push his stats past a certain limit. Then, wait.
That makes no sense. Hey, wait a minute. Seiki, I just thought of something.
What?
Oni goes, hey, this Flash clone for the Spartan program
Yeah.
somehow stabilized.
Let's put him through the Spartan program?
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, let's go make a shit ton more Flash clones to see if we can use them in the Spartan program.
Because, here's the thing. Halsey is theoretically on a genetics level. They wouldn't have to do, a dissection or vivisection to figure out why this kid stabilized. They could just take blood and bone marrow. Realistically, cutting the kid open wouldn't provide them any extra results, and the UNSC is smart enough to know that, so they'd be like, cool, that's candidate number 52 for the Spartan program.
Yeah.
And we'll be already studying them on every genetic level possible.
I mean, they'd probably keep him separate from the Spartan program. Probably make him like an Oni Spartan, basically, where they have him heavily monitored at all times and constantly taking his blood and shit to detect any changes or elude any insights possible that would help stabilize future Flash clone Spartans.
I'm sure, but our point remains salient.
Yeah. If he wasn't this is another thing. I'm not really understanding what the hell's going on here. So the game pops up with an interface telling him all this information, and then says your physical stat limit will be limited to 50 as a human, right? And then in the narrative he goes, if he was in Halo, then he wouldn't be able to push his stats beyond human level. Why are
I feel like the author mixed up some explanations or something.
Yeah, I don't really know what the hell's going on here. Then he goes on to be like, if this information was true, dude, you literally just got resurrected by some sort of fucking multi-dimensional entity that just made you play the Wheel of Fortune to see what universe you got reincarnated into. And then that system of magic that he just set you up with is telling you that your stats can't go past 50. There is no, if the information the system is giving me is true, at this point, fucking believe it.
Thanks, Naruto.
I wonder, is the system possibly lying to me about my limits? I don't know. Is the multi-dimensional entity that resurrected you lying to you? Maybe, but at this point, does it fucking matter?
Because you will never know.
Would the government ever lie to you, Sneaky? See?
It's possible, but at the same time, I feel like if the multi-dimensional entity wanted me to not exceed a certain power level, they certainly could do that at will.
True.
Your power limit is X. I wish to exceed it.
No.
No.
DM, no. Well, okay.
Denied.
And
If
and thus
true.
the DM said no.
If that's true, then he'll need to master skills to make up for it. Ones with passive bonuses and actives, like martial arts masters and masteries. And most of all, he has no MP. For planning things out, you gain +1 whiz.
This is so fucking dumb. God, I'm reminded of why I hate gamer stories.
Yeah. Well, it's more
you succeeded in a basic facet of human life. Have a stat boost.
On a side note, isn't literally like 80% of the gamer shtick is that you break through limits? Yes. Yes, it is. But the points being here is that just like, why is wisdom capped at 50? Oh no, it's not. Physical stats are capped at 50. Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. But it's just like, why? Why all of this? It's I don't know. Gamer stories, I don't hate gamer stories. I hate the authors of gamer stories because 99.99% of them are terrible at writing gamer stories. Because I've read good gamer stories, but it's the author that made them good, just like it's the authors that make them bad. It's gamer stories are a great way for me to metaphor this because everyone knows I love my metaphors. A great way to explain gamer stories is gamer stories are making a sandcastle on the beach by hand during a rising tide. Can you do it? Yes. Is it going to be hard as shit? Yes.
Is it going to be worth it?
Maybe. Will it be destroyed in the end by all the factors that go into making it? Likely. Godly being, send this to the bug and balance team. I want this fixed by the time he goes to sleep. Where are the so-called mythical good gamer stories? Systema was a good one. That's still updating. There was another few Ruby ones, like one or two of them, that were fairly okay and handled themselves well, but they're dead as shit because they're gamer stories and they ended up killing themselves because the author realized how the power scaling in the gamer stories just don't work out for normal narrative writing. Because what shocker, if you introduce game mechanics to your story, you're gonna have to really heavily plan around those game mechanics and make them the basic function of your entire story. Otherwise, the narrative gets trampled by them.
Turns out games aren't just balanced for shits and giggles.
Yeah, it turns out it's what's wild. There was let's see, Ruby stories. No, there is that one by Saint Infernal Neos. SAO the Aerojet. That was hilarious. I loved that one. That was great. It's the Aerojet, but it was written as an April 1st parody, so it's actually making fun of the Aerojet. It's where Kirito gains the power of gamer and ends up being an Aerojet protagonist instead of a normal gamer protagonist. So he doesn't have bonuses to his strength, intelligence, or wisdom or anything. He has bonuses to his charm, his wit, and his what was the last one? Oh, good looks. So dick size. The entire story is great. Saint Infernal Neos is an interesting character. One Punch Gamer was also another great one, also by Saint Infernal Neos. That's like at 14 books, 15 books now. So that one's still going. There was one I was reading a while back called King. There's another gamer story based in the One Punch Man world. That's also dead due to it being a gamer story and the author realizing he didn't have much to go on because he did focus on the gamer aspects of the story a bunch and then realized, oh shit, I don't know what else to do anymore because he did it all.
Wait, was it the gamer power applied to King?
Yes.
Okay, well that fucks up a lot of story then.
What do you mean?
That was, in fact, kind of the problem.
Yeah. Well, King becomes the rank 1 hero because he happens to be in the area where Saitama took care of like a demon ranked threat.
Yes.
So King getting gamer power fucks up the narrative because King is actually now capable of those feats, depending on how long he's had the power.
Since he was 4 years old.
Oh, that completely fucks everything up then, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, the story ended up crushing itself under its own narrative.
How many chapters did it make it?
A good like 30, 40.
I'm impressed. I would have, well, I wouldn't have even published the first chapter, to be honest.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I know Max
so-
Max here is also trying to become a mythical good gamer story where everything all of the stats and shit are being circumvented, right? It was just skills and stuff that were in the game.
It's literally just, here are your skills. You
Yeah.
can put points into them, but no hard numbers are ever given.
Yeah.
The most it gets, the most it's said is like, oh yeah, according to the game, I maxed those stats out. It's like, the fuck does that even mean, kid? I don't know. It just says I can't put any more points in.
I have 99,000 strength. What does that mean? Cool.
Fuck if I know.
Fuck if the author knows.
You have
I,
reached 10,000 strength. Is that good?
It's a rule. It's a rule that one of my high school English teachers gave us,
Yeah.
which is if you want to go into creative writing, depending on what kind of story you're doing, avoid hard numbers.
Only Sith stealing absolute.
Avoid hard numbers like the fucking plague, because hard numbers are going to ruin your story. If you want to do it for like dating things out, that's fine. Like this happened on this day, this happened the next day, that's fine.
Well, I mean, also
if
at the
you're
same
gonna-
time, well, that's the dating things out thing is another. It's a minefield of its own, because then you get stories like Game of Thrones with its mudcore aspects, where it's like, it does in fact not take 17 months to travel these two distances, but at the same time, you said it took them 7 weeks to travel these two distances, which makes no fucking sense.
Yeah. You've got to be, if you're going to put hard numbers to things, you have to be very careful, and you have to. It's a choice that, if you're gonna make the choice, you've got to have like 3 backup plans to make sure you don't start stumbling over your own numbers.
Yeah, basically, and it's sort of where Gray and I are coming in with our to be written as well, sort of semi-gamer story, because it's not real gamer in the way that gamer works. It's more literally the character is playing an actual game, so there is game stats in it, but they, because of the game being a full dive MMO, the game stats aren't going to be so much of a. This is one thing I actually disagree with Sal on, because there isn't going to be much point in having stats in a game like Sal. Like, level would be important, because then you could scale everything based on level, but it wouldn't make much sense to have stats that actually affect you directly, because you are doing a full dive experience, and you wouldn't really know. There wouldn't be a really good way to express strength of, I got 1,500 strength. What does that mean? What's the difference between 1,500 strength and 5 strength? It's easier to express the difference between a level 1 and a level 50.
Number big, I guess.
Yeah. As far as full dive stuff goes, SAO would definitely be a prototype though. There would be stats because that's what people are comfortable with, but it wouldn't gel.
Right, but
it wouldn't gel very
SAO
well.
is actually a great example of my point being proven, in that it is the first full dive MMO, so it would still be using old MMO ideas, like stats.
Even though the author didn't know anything about MMOs, because
shockingly, he knew nothing about MMOs,
because
which really shows.
In every MMO, the economy is limited. What? God, that was the fucking worst.
No!
They grinded out the first 3 floors of all mobs. Well, it's not a very good MMO then, is it?
And that's one of the reasons why people consider Dark Souls 2 to be a very controversial game. Oh yeah, enemies will just stop spawning here. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, that was great, calling you up on Steam. It's like, alright, think you ready for Dark Souls 2 today? Like, yeah, I grinded out these 3 areas. What do you mean you grinded them out?
People stop spawning.
Yeah. I left Sneaky to his own devices for a day because I had to go hit college classes, come back, turns out he'd just been grinding in Dark Souls 2 the entire time. That's also how we learned the hard way that soul level is how they did. Soul memory is how they did the matchmaking.
Yeah, not soul level, because I
Which was-
specifically didn't level myself up.
Yeah, he just invested it in items and whatnot.
But it was like, oh,
And it
you've
turns out it
gathered
doesn't matter.
24,000 soul points. That means you're a level outside of max now. It's like, what the fuck? But I'm the same level as him still. But I've gathered too much experience.
And then the dumbass got himself soft banned by
Yeah.
adjusting his soul memory like about halfway. Yeah, we made
Yeah.
about halfway through the game.
About halfway.
So then I had to finish it myself and go through the DLCs on my own, which that was okay. DLCs are the best part of Dark Souls 2.
Gonna agree there. Though the poison wound sucked.
That fucking well, yeah, but the fight at the end of that DLC though.
Guys, we made another
That-
poison swamp.
That dragon
Please
was pretty good.
Stop.
That dragon
But,
fight was fun.
So anyway, the point being though is that for the story that Gray and I were thinking about, the gamer-ish story that Gray and I are thinking about, the
You guys
stats.
go dot hack with it or just
What do you mean dot hack with it?
like are you trapped in a game or are you literally
No, just
It's
he can
just
he can
a
leave
game.
and yeah, he can go and enter at any time. Yeah.
okay? So it's just adventures in a VR MMO of your design.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah. It's just a story of self-discovery of someone who didn't like what they were like and decided to use the idea of starting new.
Okay. That thing you sent me earlier this week. Okay, that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like I told you, I've seen the concept before. I haven't seen it done very well. The most fun I've had reading a story about something like that was paying to win in a VR MMO. And it's fucking hilarious because it's literally just what if this kid that's worth billions of dollars just started playing a VR MMO? He wins his first PvP fight. It's like a level 1 character versus one of the greatest players in the game. By throwing a credit card at the battle, literally, he spawned so many pay-to-win items, the servers lagged.
Based.
All right then.
He lag switched his opponent with the power of money because servers couldn't handle the amount of items on
By
screen,
the power of this card,
as
I
well as all the
cast-
player models that had shown up for this fight. On top of it, it was a fun read.
Yeah. But I was trying to say, but we'll get back to this. But I was trying to say to finish that up. The stats would be less impactful. Like you finished this skill, you gain +1 strength. It's like, oh yeah, I'm a log cutter. I gain +1 strength for mastering log cutting. And it's not going to be so much as a, oh, I'm going to be able to punch mountains now. It's more like my character is going to gain more visible muscle definition. It's sort of like Sims, where you max out your character's like fitness skill and their sports skill and all their punching skill or whatever, and like they now have more muscle definition when they previously were like fat or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're just toning it down. It's not gonna get crazy.
Yeah.
Like there's still an effect. It's also more easily visible now.
Yeah, and
So,
it's going to be important because then the guy who's got all these like strength skills is going to look really big and beefy, and you're gonna be able to go, oh, that guy's got all the strength skills. This is what I have to watch out for.
Yeah. Okay, that's actually not a bad way to balance something like that. It's like, oh, that guy clearly has at least 12 strength.
Yeah, exactly.
Holy shit, that's a problem.
Yes.
This guy has a lot of strength. Don't get hit.
Yeah.
Okay, but how
yeah.
do you deal with something like that man has enough dexterity to backflip?
Again, it's gonna be a little bit harder, but at the same time, that's sort of just like real life. It's like you can't really tell someone how dexterous they are by how they look, but you can definitely tell how strong someone is by how they look.
For the most part, yeah. Then there's those lean motherfuckers.
Yeah. I've met some of them as well. Yeah.
It's the human body's weird.
Yeah.
You can build big muscles. They're fucking useless.
You can also lean them very hard. It's weird.
Yeah.
Body's weird.
You can make them quite toned and lithe and hit harder than the bodybuilders.
Yes.
Because
Well, I mean, the important difference there between strongman and bodybuilder is that bodybuilders specifically build their muscles in a way that makes them look big, while strongmen build their muscles in a way to make them strong.
yeah, it makes them effective. Yes. That's not even getting into the muscle color theory.
Yep.
Red,
What?
white,
Which is
and pink.
mostly genetics.
Yeah, mostly genetics. Like, was it like if your body is like 90% white muscle, you should probably consider something in martial arts as a possible career
Yeah.
because of
Differences
explosive strength, I
between
think.
geographic locations and sexes. Yeah.
Yeah. Now you can convert the muscles, I think, into pink, but it's not so easy to convert from red to white and vice versa.
Yeah. No. There's
I
certain
have
things
no
you can.
fucking idea what you're talking about.
Basically, it's talking about how easily it is for the muscle to gain and lose size, gain and lose definition,
Yeah.
and how quickly it reacts to twitch impulse.
Yeah,
I
so they're split into three colors: red, white, and pink. Red is, I think, endurance. Endurance, how long you go, stamina, and white is generally like explosive strength. How fast you can, how quickly you can get up certain force behind a hit.
Yeah.
And pink is meant to be the middleman ground between them. You can convert red and white into pink, but you can't convert red to white or white to red, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
That specifically is down to whatever the genetic pool gave you.
Yeah.
So like if like I said, if someone had like 90% white muscle, they have a distinct natural advantage in fighting.
I see.
Well, yeah, just sports in general. Anything involving quick movement.
But
And if someone had, say,
yeah.
a bunch of red, anything involving endurance, so tug of wars, things like that, they excel in.
I mean, it's certainly a way to think about it, because a slider scale would certainly help us for the. I'm just thinking idea creation for the game mechanics themselves, because like if you balance your dexterity and your strength, then you would be more of a lithe body type than a super bulky body type. But if you just drastically had a lot more strength than dexterity, maybe you're just looking bulky. You know, just off the top of my head.
Dex is your dump stat.
Indeed. Blah blah blah. Skills. Blah blah blah. Shop had everything like the Abyss from the comics, but no gacha system. Options had like BGM and fertility menus.
What?
Also, I could go into third-person perspective. Why? Why would you ever want to view your life from a shoulder cam?
Oh.
How do you even determine
That
what
would
kind
be
of muscle you
terrible.
have? Microbiopsy. Also, they can do tests. If you just want to do general tests, you can just do general tests as well. They have you lifting certain weights, certain amount of time, certain level of flexibility, how fast you react to like a ball being thrown at you and shit. Blah blah blah. Why is there a fertility menu? Seeing enough for now, he laid back down and observed everything he could. He looked and found that John only had girlfriends. 3 girls, in fact, were close friends, and one of them even promised to marry him.
Yo,
Author,
That's
you're cringe.
weird.
Author, you're really cringe. These are 6-year-olds.
Author, that's weird, but I will say, not gonna lie, that was probably the Halo short story that got to me the most.
No?
There was one, so it takes place in the middle of Halo 2,
Hmm.
and John meets a girl from Eridanis who was going to marry him.
Yes. Yep.
And she joined the Marines because I believe she thought that John died because terrorists.
Yeah, I think that's what the general spiel was. It was either terrorism, cancer, or accidents.
Yeah.
John's
That's
friends,
fucked.
Parisia, promised to marry him one day. Seeing as he had time to think now, he used it to think about his future. Should he go be a soldier or be a scientist? He always loved technology. With tech tier, he could probably learn how to create titans from Titanfall.
No.
Don't know why you would ever jump to that as the conclusion
I don't
there,
know
buddy.
why you would ever. What do you think, guys? Give me some feedback. A what if scenario if someone went to Halo with the gamer and has tech tier system and no magic. That's cringe. I hate it because that implies that's like Supreme Commander tech come out at some point in Halo. That's dumb. No,
That's dumb. You're dumb.
Fuck you.
Dynafire.
pretty much. All right. Well, we only got like 10 minutes left, so there's not much else to. We don't want to cover a story, but you know, we went and covered a lot of topics today. I feel good about it, even though we only covered one story. We went and saw what the front page looked like, and we hated it, and we reminded ourselves why we don't go to the front page. So is there any questions, anything someone wants to ask or talk about? Chat or otherwise?
Why does God continue to allow you to live?
You know, a lot of people ask that question. No one has an answer yet.
I see.
I think it's
Maybe
everyone that's
someday.
praying for me. I'm growing too strong.
I think that's like maybe 3 people.
Yeah, well, Atin, you better start praying against him.
I don't think it's allowed.
I mean, who's gonna stop you? God?
I mean, if the implied statement is that prayer works, yes.
True. Fair enough.
Oh, Christ. Okay, well, it looks like the chat has grown silent and weary. I have infinite channel points, I just remembered this.
Oh boy.
I mean, it's not like you can actually do anything with channel points, though, so,
Woo! I already
Yeah.
have all my emotes unlocked! Wow!
Amazing. You only gone and done it.
Modify an emote. Search emotes. I'm gonna put a bow tie on it.
Oh fuck. He's doing it.
he's lost his mind. He's drunk on power. Drunk, I tell you! Also, possibly vodka.
More likely than not.
Oh, God. Alright, well, we'll close up here then. See you guys on Friday, because there's always more and it always gets worse.